My name is Keith Griffin. My wife, Lisa, and I recently became proud parents of a beautiful baby boy. With the baby came the need to buy a bigger home. Here I am about to log in to the mobile app of Cisco Finance, where we have been banking for the past 5 years. I'll check out their mortgage rates and see what I need to get pre-qualified. Keith Griffin. Here is my account view of all my accounts in one place. And they have two promotional offers for me, home mortgage as well as auto insurance. And I can also check the current CD rates, money market, savings, mortgages, loans, and so on. So I'm interested in the home mortgage, so I'm going to click on that. And the process seems to be very easy, which is great. And this is what I will need. It's not very clear. I'd like to get some clarification on this. I guess I can use the chat, email, and request a call functions over here, but I really need to get to the bottom of this today if possible. So I'd like to speak with someone in person, and they have an expert assist button over here. So I'm going to try that. Meanwhile, in the contact center of Cisco Finance, Agent John Smith is starting his day. He's logged into his Finesse Agent desktop, but he's not available to receive any calls. So let's take a quick look here. He has an Expert Assist gadget, which is a new gadget powered by Cisco Remote Expert Mobile. With this gadget, he can collaborate more effectively, share his screen, annotate, fill out forms collaboratively with his clients, and we'll see that shortly. On the Manage Call, he can answer incoming calls as well as place outgoing calls. And finally, on the Recordings tab, he can log into the recording application to search for any of the past recordings of either audio or video conversations, as well as monitor active calls. If he's a supervisor, he can see the active calls and barge in or intercept, or just listen in and coach as required. All right, let's go back to Keith. Keith is anxious, so he clicks on the Expert Assist. And he connects with Cisco Finance Contact Center. However, there are no agents available at the moment. So let's go change Agent John Smith's status to ready. And here we are answering Keith's call. John can see Keith's information, his account profile, as well as some other information that's captured by the analytics engine. And if we switch back to Keith, Keith is connected with the agent. He can see agent's video. He can move it around on his view, on his tablet. And John can initiate a start desktop share, which prompts Keith to accept the share of his desktop view with John, and he clicks OK to that. Upon clicking OK, John is able to see Keith's mobile tablet. He can answer all of Keith's questions here, and he can even emphasize any areas that he thinks should be emphasized. He can annotate. He can circle any area on Keith's mobile tablet. He can clear that. He can push documents to Keith. As Keith was interested in home mortgage rates, he can send him the current rates for fixed rate mortgages. And this is Keith's view, and Keith can move his video window around so he can see the rates. and he can close them. And John can push also the arm rates. He can push as many documents as necessary. He can also get funny and push Mr. Gecko. And let's go look at Keith. And that's a great way to wrap up the conversation. So, well, Keith called so that he can clarify the requirements for the pre-qualification and if possible get started. So John is clicking on the Get Started button, which pops up this form for the pre-qualification, and let's verify that from Keith's view. Exactly. So Keith can fill this form, or John can fill it out for him, or they can fill it out collaboratively. John, for instance, can enter some of the fields: the loan used, the amount requested, 500,000, residency status, etc. And then he can push these fields onto the form. And as you can see, the fields that John populated are the primary residence, the loan amount, and so on. And Keith can also enter some of these fields himself. He can modify any of these fields and then indicate his acknowledgement and submit. Before we do that, let's go back to John and get our view back. Let's exit the form fill. Alright, so at this point the form is filled, and what we need is Keith to validate his identity. So Keith clicks on the submit, which pops up this challenge question that he set up earlier when he was opening the account. So he has 3 questions here. He picks one, the favorite food, types his challenge answer. Before he clicks verify, let's see what John is seeing. As you would expect, John sees the question but cannot see the answer. The answer is masked from his view for security reasons. Keith clicks on verify. Great, that's the right answer, and he's been verified. And John can take control back at this point, close the verification form, thank Keith for submitting the application, and if necessary, they can continue the collaboration. For instance, there is a loan application that John can send to Keith, which is a PDF form. And Keith can read this, and when he has time, he can fill this out and mail it back to Cisco Finance. Great. Alright, so this is the end of our demo. We're going to end the call from Keith's side and switch back to our agent John Smith, and he is back to ready. So the last part of this demo is the Recordings tab. So we go back to Recordings tab and log back in as John Smith. Ideally, in financial environments, we would want this call to be recorded as required. So John can search the recordings, and he has a bunch of recordings here, and I believe it's the first one here. So he clicks on that, which downloads the file and opens the Java player. John can see Keith's information, his account profile, as well as some other information that's captured by the analytics engine. Is a side-by-side view of John and Keith collaborating and having the conversation about the pre-qualification. And this video file is stored for either compliance reasons, or even from a contact center perspective, this video file can be referred to later on to train agents, to identify best practices, and so on. There are many potential use cases for such a video recording in the contact center, even in the financial industry environment. Okay, so this is the end of our demo. Thank you for watching.